This. What's going on, everybody? Episode 18 of the DROD and Shaniac pod. No DROD this week again. My boy is living it up in somewhere. He's probably back now, but he was out there having the time of his life. I think in Miami or something. I was like, look at this guy. Yeah. So you got Nate B back again, back by popular demand. We were supposed to have a couple others on, but work, tired, sleep. So I can't blame them. Go get your sleep because they got to wake up in the morning. But nonetheless, episode 18, my guy Nate. We are talking play-in tournament. Now we're gonna start with the East. Let's get right into it. We're gonna start with the East because that kind of made sense as to what happened. So give me your take. You can start with the 7-8 game, or you can don't start with the 7-8 game. Start with the 9-10 game first, and then go 7-8, and then go 8-9. Go ahead.
It's crazy because the West made it seem like once again it was the West that says this is a good idea.
Yeah.
But based off of the East, it's like that joint played out
the waste
almost. Because as I was telling you, I followed top ball coverage, and they did the poll the day of the DC Celtics game, and I'm like, guys, number one, Brad Stevens is a better coach than Scotty Brooks, in my opinion, hands down.
Yeah.
Number two, Jason Tatum is a matchup nightmare. The length of DC wasn't going to deal with him. I was in the minority. I'm not trying to be like, oh, I told you so, but I was like, I was actually shocked that they didn't think that a team that most of the core players that was in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, still there. They had a lot of injuries. Remember, COVID ravaged them in the early part of the season too. So it's like, it wasn't going to be a good season.
I thought the Celtics were going to win the game. I did, but I thought Rui was going to at least guard Tatum. I thought Rui Hachimura was going to put his foot down, and he didn't. Tatum walked all over that entire team. So
yeah, that man said 50. That was the easiest 50-point game I think I've seen in the last decade. How easy he got it. How easy he got it. How easy he got it.
I don't know about easiest because Kevin Porter Jr. on the Bucks earlier this year was probably the easiest one I see. He scored 60, and it was like he didn't.
I didn't see the game.
It was like three from the corner, drive, layup, three from the corner, layup.
Okay. Layup. I guess I'm thinking about just what was on the line.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
How easy he made it look. Like,
that's true.
You're not supposed to drop no 50-point game in a pressure situation just like that.
That was bad. It was because I was sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, this game is gonna be close. And then I look and I'm like, wait, they up by like 30. Westbrook did nothing. And then it's like, wait, Tatum got.
And he had a triple double anyway. And he still had a triple double. That was dumb to me. I
think he was like a one assist or something off.
One assist on my fault. He had a double double. Yeah,
but he didn't score much. I think he scored what, like 20 points, which is
18,
good.
I think it was 18 or 20.
But when you're talking about pressure situation, Russell Westbrook is supposed to be the best player on that team. Technically, Bradley Beal is the best scorer, but Russell Westbrook, like in crunch time, like clutch moments, did nothing. And I'm sitting there like, bro, you got to be kidding me. But that game kind of like, even though they got blown out, it kind of made sense. Like, you don't expect any team in the playoffs to get blown out. You don't expect it. Of course, it happens. But the fact that the Wizards, who were technically at full strength, I don't think they were missing any players.
Not any key players.
Yeah.
Not any key players.
They had Westbrook, they had Beal, they had Hachimura, they had Alex Len.
Now, they were all there.
Yeah, everybody was there. And the Celtics were down Jaylen Brown, of course. Who else? They traded away Dice or Thies, whatever his name is.
Yes, Tice. I still can't believe it. We talked about it last time. I still can't believe it.
I could believe it because he's not that good.
I don't know. He's not that good outside of what that system asks of him because he rebounded. He was a good offensive rebounder for them for his height. That's why I said
He's only 6'8", yeah.
For to offensive rebound like that, I was like, he got my respect. And you know that's a lot for me, as a Lakers fan, to say at any point about any Celtic or when they wear the uniform.
Yeah. But that's low-key why I thought the Celtics would never make it anywhere this year. Like, of course, they're not out yet, but I still don't think they're gonna make it anywhere because they're playing my team right now. But that's low-key. That's low-key why I thought, oh, they have zero shot this year because their tallest big, their most physical big is that bum. I don't even remember his name. What's his name?
Thompson?
Yeah.
Tristan Thompson?
Tristan. I said Kristen in my head. I was like, that doesn't sound right.
No,
Tristan Thompson. He's their biggest big.
I can't let y'all keep doing him dirt like that. Like this man.
No, he's not terrible, but you think he's nice still? Like he was nice on the Cavs. Now he's just sort of there.
That's the problem. But that's the problem. I think that all that losing after winning, because that's why when you win so young and then you start losing so late in your career, or start losing for a good minute. Because I remember that man was 4 years removed. Well, let's say 5 because he wasn't a factor in 17 or 18. 5 years removed from being a big contributor to a championship team. So it's like he got to get his legs under him again. I think maybe this offseason he'll do it because it wasn't a bad pickup. It wasn't a bad pickup.
It was a smart pickup because he knows how to win. Even if he wasn't like you said, he wasn't the main beast, but he still played big minutes.
And he knows how to do it. And my thing is this: if Tristan Thompson had just been as physical as he was in like say 14 to 16, like the year before LeBron got there, and he looked like he was going to be something. If they had that, I would say, it's easily 6-game series. It shouldn't be, but it's easily 6 games. But he's not there.
I wouldn't even be able to do that because
no, it's your squad. I know, but
just because Nick Claxton, that man is so skinny. He's like a worm. You can't really box him out. So, but let's get back. Before we get into first round series, because we gonna mention first round series, but we're really just talking play-in tournament.
That man. But the East was predictable.
Yeah,
I just think that first game wasn't. The first game was the only shocker. But
so you're talking 7-8. Okay, Celtics, you're talking 7-8. Got you.
That man, Charlotte had no bit after my man LaMelo Ball's out for so long. I forgot who's the team that just missed it. I was like, man, Charlotte should just let them just fall out.
The Bulls?
Yeah. Just
but you got to remember, LaMelo came back. Who else? Everybody was there. The only person that was really missing was, I think, PJ Washington. I don't think he played. Either because of COVID or injury. He was really the only one that was really missing because they had everybody else. They had LaMelo. They had Scary Terry. They had, what's that dude with the braids? Man, I'm blanking on everybody's name today. The point guard, shooting guard.
Not Scary Terry.
Man,
I'm gonna tell you right now because it's bugging me.
Yeah, I forgot his name.
But they weren't that. But to me, they weren't that. I don't know. They weren't that. Charlotte was. Yeah, they were the 4th seed at one point, but to be honest, I'm like, Miles Bridges.
Miles played. He played.
Yeah, Miles played. Devontae Graham.
Devontae Graham. That's his name.
Devontae, yeah. That's the only person I can think of.
He balled like he usually balls out. Like I don't think he starts for them anymore. Because they have Terry and they have LaMelo, but they had everybody there. And then on top of that, you have let me not say they had everybody. They didn't, because arguably their best player was missing, and that's Gordon Hayward. And that's a big piece.
It would have been a better game.
Oh, they probably would have won. I wouldn't say it would. They would like. Okay, let's say they wouldn't have gotten blown out. It would have been within 10 points, and they could have won the
Gordon
game.
Hayward, ever since that injury, fam, I'm not gonna hold you. I can't trust him as far as I throw him. Although he did good this year when he was healthy.
I was about to say he did average, I think, 20 this year.
He did good when he was healthy.
And that's 20 without really touching the ball. Like
Yeah,
LaMelo had the ball every time down the court, and Gordon Hayward
that's
still
true.
scored 20 a game. So I could trust him. We got to think.
It depends
Jordan
on
gave
how
him the
this season
money.
goes on. Yeah,
Jordan said, Kemba, you can go kick rocks. The next year gave Gordon Hayward, it wasn't max money, but it was 20 mil a year for somebody
and
who
just
just
think
came off
about
an
it,
ankle
man.
injury.
And it was almost recurring. Like he didn't do nothing for the Celtics.
Yeah, he didn't.
It's crazy. But but my thing is this: if you're gonna get there, don't let it was the Pacers that rocked them like that.
And that was a short-handed Pacers too.
That's why that game disappointed. Because like the Pacers,
No Karras.
same team that couldn't get offense and they had Oladipo. That's it. Okay.
It
Still bugs me.
felt almost like,
It was a bad college ball game, yo.
yeah, that's what kind of low-key, that's what it
It
felt
was
like.
like Duke versus Eastern Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's what it felt like. It was like 40 to like 13. It felt like I don't think the score was ever that bad, but that's what it felt like. When I was watching, I'm like, yo, this game is over already. Like, of course, Charlotte fought back. They fought back and got it kind of close, but then by the end of the game, they lost by 30 again. So it was like, dang, and that's with no Karis LeVert. No Karis. They had no everybody else. Miles Turner didn't play, and it's like technically their best big. Well, Sabonis is better, but Miles Turner should be able to do more.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, they really got destroyed by that team.
And that's my thing. I guess it's just like, yeah,
Well, it's
like
also
the first two games,
yeah.
but you really got, and I think that's what probably disappointed people about the DC Pacers game because it, you would have thought they would have rolled the momentum better than what they did. But it's not a good matchup. It was.
You got to remember who's
It was
Charlotte.
a good idea.
Who's Charlotte?
Yeah.
Was that like a big win? No, you beat a short-handed Charlotte team. Yeah, without their best.
Although
player.
they themselves are kind of short-handed. That's my thing. It's like you think that it would galvanize a team. You know, when you're short-handed and you win big or win a big game.
Who's the Pacers' best player?
Yeah.
The Pacers' best player was on the floor and balled out that first game. So they didn't feel, oh man, we won this game because, you know, even though we were shorthanded, like, no. They won the game because their best player was easily the best player on the floor. And Malcolm Brogdon was out there balling out. That's why they won that game.
Good point.
So when you get to the Wizards and you're like, oh, the Wizards just got blown out by the Celtics. It's like, yeah, but they're full strength and they're coming for heads. Russell Westbrook.
The next game, yeah, you did kind of see it coming. You kind of felt it coming. Yeah.
What did Shaq say? Great players never have two straight bad games.
Yeah.
And Westbrook went out there and said, this is my game. And once I saw that he averaged 26, 19, and 21 or something like that against the Pacers.
Yeah, for the regular season, it's dead.
How you average a 2020 game with 15 or 16 boards on top of that? You average that for the season against a team.
I know, but you know how I feel about Russell Westbrook, respectfully.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm right with you.
The stuff you can stat stuff. You can have it, but that joint, the stuffing Supremes is only good on burritos, tacos, and no sir. That was cute, but no sir. It's not. It's cool. 2020, a 2020 game, yeah, that's cool, but. Dang.
But to do it multiple times in 1 year against the same team, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's my thing. They need a coach. That's all I'm gonna say. If that's the case, Indiana need another new coach. If just get D'Antoni off your hands. Let's see what happens. Because you were supposed to go there last year.
It would
be better. It would be better for you.
I need D'Antoni on the team. Well, not next year. I guess Steve Nash got his 1 year. He got his 1 year, but I don't know, man.
Yeah. Let him go to Indiana. You're fine. Let him go to Indiana. Let him go to Indiana.
He gonna make Karis LeVert the best player in the NBA. Karis LeVert's gonna drop 50 a game. I don't know, bro. I'm getting kind of scared thinking about it. The Pacers might end up with this team.
Let it be. Let it be, because they're gonna get eliminated in the first round. And
Yeah, they will.
Indiana's not been good since Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas days in the late '90s, early 2000s. Let him be. Let him be.
I don't know.
He's playing games made it look like the tournament wasn't a good idea because of its predictability. But the West?
But I don't. Okay, if I feel like it made sense if every team was full strength, because if you think about it, the Hornets were the 4 seed before LaMelo and Gordon Hayward went down, and then they ended up down low. But if at full strength, you're talking about a play-in tournament of Heat.
Boston, Miami would have been a year.
No, I don't think Boston would have been in full strength. I mean, if everybody was full strength, Boston would have never even been in the play-in tournament. They probably would have been the 5 seed, and then you would have had Hawks 6, and then because 4 would have been Charlotte still, because it was when they got hurt. Charlotte was the 4 seed, and then I think the Celtics were the 5.
They wouldn't. They were too young to sustain it.
But they had Gordon Hayward, man. I'm telling you.
That's cute. So did Boston. So did Butler. So he
said Butler.
that was cute.
Boston. I don't think they really ever had Gordon Hayward. He broke his ankle the first game he ever played with them.
It was a bad omen. It was a bad omen.
Yep, missed that entire year. Came the next year and was a bum. They never had Gordon Hayward.
You know what didn't help either? When he was actually healthy, so was Kyrie, and it never meshed.
And Jason Tatum.
And
Jaylen Brown.
It was an
like
embarrassment of riches.
And he was scared.
It wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
He shouldn't have rushed back. It wasn't a good idea. Poor Hayward, but I wouldn't. He wasn't gonna do what he did in Utah either. Like, though that was good,
way different system.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, Charlotte. I would at most have put them at 6 and switch out Atlanta, because I think the Knicks would. I think they would have been in the tournament. Atlanta and Miami.
Okay.
Atlanta, Miami.
Then who's the 5?
Miami.
Knicks.
I'm still putting the Knicks there because they played the defense that said, okay, they weren't.
Well, to be honest with you, the Knicks are full strength. I think the only person they're missing is Mitchell Robinson, and Nerlens Noel is basically Mitchell Robinson at this point in his career.
Yeah,
he's not as good, but he's basically.
That's why I'm like, it would have been more exciting for Trae Young to get his feet wet in it, but we'll see what happens.
You already said what he said. Come on, he didn't need to get his feet wet. He got his feet wet at MSG. That's where he got his feet wet.
I know. I was gonna say that's also cute, but just remember what happened with Reggie Miller the first time around when they took on the Knicks. He got him the second time, but just remember the first time. He was japping too, but
okay, so
it's good. It's good, but that is good.
Would you? Okay, based on what you saw from the East playing games, would you? Would it be different? Really? Would it be different? Same team, same 4 teams. Would it have been different if Karis LeVert played both games, or let me say, who from the Hornets? Well, we already talked about Gordon Hayward. He would have made a difference. Yes. But you think he would have made a big difference if Karis LeVert played?
Only because when he came, he had a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, even after the whole cancer joint too.
Yeah, he had a chip on his shoulder, and he's motivated. You get a second chance of life, and then you get not only a second chance of life, but you get a chance now to really work through that chip on your shoulder. I would be mad at him. I'd say, man, do what you're doing. Because and Indiana is a good fit because Indiana is that NBA team. Since they left the ABA, fans, like they've just never really, except for that 2000 trip to the finals where they got lucky.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? Like they always had that chip on their shoulder. They just need the right player that can, and the right build up to make that happen. They need to just build that roster, and they'll be fine. But Karis LeVert would have been a difference maker, in my opinion.
Does he alone push them past the Wizards?
Not that game. That game would have exposed what they needed to do in free agency.
But do you think the game would have rolled this out the same way if Karis LeVert was out there getting buckets?
No. DC would have found a way to win because, see, the thing is, Bradley Beal and them already were embarrassed. Bradley Beal, that's too talented of a backcourt. Yeah, you can't get embarrassed like that and say, "Yo, we're going out." That's why the West, how the West played out on Friday, shocked everybody.
Yeah,
because it was like you felt bad that the Spurs couldn't get it done, but the Spurs don't have.
They
Spurs
do.
Didn't have.
They do.
They have a roster, but I'm saying, but they don't have the guy.
Yes, they do. It's just that the guy was trying to be Jimmy Butler instead of being DeMar DeRozan. That's why they lost. You could see it.
I'm not saying DeMar. I'm thinking somebody, the guy almost like Tim Duncan, Kawhi, like forward, like straight up forward that can alter the game on both sides.
DeMar DeRozan. Like, he might play the two, but DeMar DeRozan is supposed to be that guy. When he was in Toronto, on offense, he took over games, and on defense, he would guard the best player. It's because now he's trying to be Jimmy Butler because Jimmy Butler got to the finals. Stop trying to be Jimmy. You got to be DeMar. DeMar was the number 2 seed in the East. Like,
you know exactly. Years. No, you know exactly why. You know exactly why he's trying to be Jimmy Butler. You got traded. Team won without you.
Exactly.
You barely make it to the finals with the team that you're on. You barely make the playoffs with the team that you're with. He has to be DeMar DeRozan with the chip on his shoulder.
Yes.
He has to be himself with his chip on his shoulder. But the thing is, the roster needs some more bigs. I don't care no.
Yeah. Poto is not Antonio,
doing it. Yeah. I'm sorry. Lamar Aldridge never did it. You know, I have a hot take. I know, but I have a hot take later concerning the Spurs.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah, it wasn't LaMarcus Aldridge's fault why he was a bum on that team. It was Pop. He said, "I don't care. It's Kawhi's team, and you're gonna get the ball whenever he feels like passing you the ball." And then after that, when DeMar got there, hey, DeMar's still better than you, and you're gonna get the ball whenever he gives you the ball. And that was before DeMar tried to be Jimmy Butler passing so much. He was still, I'm gonna shoot 26 times a game, DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see it, remember, that was never the plan of attack when it was the big three. When it was Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, that was never the plan of attack. Everybody took the same amount of shots. Manu came off the bench, got his 20 shots a game. Tim Duncan got his 25 shots. Tony Parker took like 17, 18 shots. And that was the plan of attack.
Efficiency, yeah. It was ball movement and efficiency.
Exactly.
The best shot.
When Manu retired, it was like, hey, it's really just Kawhi now. Because that's when Kawhi got good. It's Kawhi. Give him the ball. Yeah. Tony Parker went to the Hornets. Give him the ball. Give Kawhi the ball. Tim Duncan still got his 20 a game. But by then, he was, on his way out. So it was really give Kawhi the ball. And that's why he was like, bro, you guys are running me into the ground. You think I'm about to risk my future to go win a chip right now? No. I got 15 years left. And y'all running me into the ground. I'm not doing this. That's why he was like, I'm not coming back.
And that mystery quad injury, because I'm telling you the truth, if he had played in the 18 playoffs, they would have been all right.
Situation.
Yeah. I don't think my other hot take is that I'll say it now. That man Kawhi just, when the Clippers get eliminated, just humble yourself, go back there. It's not. I was telling.
You think he goes to the Spurs?
I was telling my cousin if he did that and he won with DeRozan, he's really the GOAT because
the GOAT
man broke up the team. His man broke up that duo and won with one. And then what with the
Yo. Oh man, I would die if that happened.
Thinking, but I would be hysterical. Yeah, he mashed and went back to the team that he mashed up in the first place.
Oh man, that would be hilarious.
Yeah, I know it's not gonna happen, but that would be a thing. If this man said, "I'm going to pop," that would be a thing. Oh my goodness.
But I think he left because of Pop. So anyhow, he went back there and then won a chip again with him. Talking about, I'm bringing DeRozan now. Like that would be hilarious.
Yeah, no.
Because he is a free agent.
But it would be an indictment. But that would be an indictment on what's it called? That would be an indictment on
Paul George. Paul
George forever.
there is no coming back from that.
Sorry, friend. But that's all that is. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
Oh,
but
man, that's funny.
That's kind of why that series kind of bugged me. Cause it was just like that's why that game bugged me. Cause like, dang, they actually could have won, but Ja Morant, the playing tournament became about Ja Morant.
No, it was about if Ja Morant could be better than Steph Curry. Even though they never guarded each other. So it didn't really make sense for that to even be the competition.
Yeah.
Because the Warriors don't have that person that can lock up Ja. And even though nobody can lock up Steph, at the very least, they have Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
Like who on the Warriors is locking up Ja? Jordan Poole off the bench? You think he's about to lock him up?
Yeah, the boy, that game was a reminder. That game was a reminder. That Friday game was a reminder how much Clay is valuable to the squad.
Bro, I saw a bunch of tweets. And I'm gonna tell you what the tweets were saying. People were wondering how the series would have been different if not the series, the game would have been different if Klay Thompson was healthy. And I tweeted out, and I was like, if Klay Thompson was healthy, the Warriors are the 3 seed.
Yeah, they're not no playing team. That's mad disrespectful.
I said the Warriors are the 3 seed if Klay Thompson is healthy.
That's disrespectful.
I was like, let's not forget he's a top, I would say maybe top 3 shooting guard in the NBA when healthy. Let's not disrespect Klay Thompson. Let's not do that.
And that's what, and I'm like, no. See, if they needed a playing game, if they needed to go in the playing game or play in tournament, it'd have been only because you at least had Klay, but he wasn't healthy. Klay was missing the whole year. Klay not coming back until this fall. And when they come back, I think Stephen A said it. They're going to be a contender. You're not going to see them in the top 6.
Especially if he has the same lateral quickness he had before. Because he can lock up your best player and still drop 50 in that game. Right. And that's why he's such a monster.
I'm gonna hold you. Trade Wiggins.
I would even keep him.
As much.
I would say trade Oubre, keep Wiggins, because Wiggins was the sole reason why they were in that game against the Lakers.
All right, I'll give you that.
Like, of course, Steph did his thing, but Wiggins kept them in that game when Steph was getting triple teamed.
You heard what my man Draymond said today, talking about he wants to become more of an offensive player. And I'm like, bro, you're 8 years too late. You're 8 years too late. You're 8 years too late for that. You should have said this in 2014. Maybe Mark Jackson would have coached y'all to your championship because you were a non-factor.
Yeah.
Offensively. The only game that we could say this man was a legit offensive factor.
I know what you're about to say.
The 2016 NBA Finals game number 7.
Game 4 and game 7.
Oh yeah, he did go off in game 4. I forgot about that.
And then he got suspended game 5. Game 6, he was being a facilitator, and then game 7, he dropped like 25 in the first half, and then disappeared in the second half. And it's like, what happened?
But even then, like that 32 was a great 32 because I'm telling you, if they had finished the job. I don't think the league wanted that because Draymond had too many texts and Draymond had too many controversial moments throughout the playoffs. It's just like Marshawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
If they won that second Super Bowl, I know I'm veering off. If they did that,
No,
won
you're
that
good.
second Super Bowl, I compare them to because those two were characters. If they'd won the second Super Bowl, Marshawn Lynch getting MVP. I don't care how great Russell played. That
Oh
man,
yeah. Oh yeah.
especially if they ran that ball for the last play, it would have clinched it. Goodell didn't want that. Flip it to the NBA, 2016. Draymond Green got so much text and had so many controversial playoff moments with Steve Adams, within the NBA Finals itself, and he did that. If they better, the league better thank Kyrie.
Yeah.
You better thank your man because if he missed that shot and they managed to win that game by 2, Golden State that is, he's winning the MVP, and they didn't want that.
I don't think I really don't think he would win an MVP just because you all
Goodness sake.
yeah, it's Steph.
I know they
Yeah.
gave it to him for goodness. They would have gave it to him for goodness sake, but there would have been a conversation.
Because let's be
Just
real,
like how
2015, Steph was the MVP of that series. He was the MVP of that series.
He averaged a good 25, and just because he shot 39% from
Yeah.
3. Oh my gosh. Some people wish they can get above 35.
The issue was Iguodala guarded Bron, got dropped
For the game that
40
they lost,
on
the
him.
last three that they lost.
Bron dropped 40 on him in all of those games. 40-point triple doubles in all of those games.
Yeah, game 6.
And they said, "Oh my God, he slowed him down. He only dropped 40 points." And it's like, "Are y'all watching?"
Nah, man, I don't know.
4 points.
Adam Silver was kind of questionable to me in the Finals MVP. I respect him. The first couple years that he's a commissioner, because as much as I guess you could say in 14, it was going to be Kawhi regardless, especially because of when ABC zoomed in on LeBron shooting the free throw, and they saw Kawhi come back in the game, and he was visibly frustrated. That was the moment where you knew he was going to win the MVP, because but not 15. That was Steph's. Yeah, the league did him dirty, but he showed in that game. You gotta stop doing me dirty. I know I'm 33. I know I should be coming down from my prime, but this man, what he did to just get them in the tournament, because they were lingering at number 10 for a while.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this man just zoomed. I get why they're talking about him being MVP. It's not happening. Sorry, that's just me.
Here's why.
If they don't give it to Jokic, in my opinion, it's gonna show the bias that the league low key has had for bigs. I get it. You want it to be a legit big man, all-time generational talent big man, to be the first MVP to win as a big man since Shaq. But Jokic, who passes the ball better than him at his height, at his size? Yeah. That's another conversation, but I'm just saying.
Nobody.
But Steph, his thing. My issue was the same man's that kept them in the game was the one that kind of low key cost them the second game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because Steph was getting triple teamed and Wiggins is open, or Wiggins would. I think he had like 6 turnovers on the same play. Like
you gotta hit the.
I think he had 6 turnovers on the exact same play. Screen for Steph, get the ball. Steph makes a back cut, little soft, back cut pass that gets picked off by Kyle Anderson every single time. And it's like, bro, you made that same mistake 5 times and you did it again.
And you haven't I just don't get it. Like, see, this is kind of why I get the Clay factor, because he would have been the second man to shoot. You'd have to respect him. But Wiggins, you gotta play better than that, man.
Oh yeah.
You gotta do better than that. I appreciate what he's been for the Warriors since Clay's been out, but you gotta be better than that. Oubre was a dud.
He got hurt too.
And I think it's also because Oubre wanted to be that 3-point shooting dude, basically. Because if at the end of the first half of the season you're shooting 28% from 3, go back to what made you good.
Yeah.
Jumpers and dunks.
But he was never good. Like Kelly Oubre was the energy guy that could lock you up. He's not like a great on-ball defender, but he's really good. And he has so much energy and he could jump out the building. So he was never a shooter at all. But with Oubre, it's like, I'm going to put Oubre on you. I'm going to get in your way. And what are we going to do? you're gonna act like you're doing something, and even if you get by him, he's gonna recover. He's gonna jump out the building to go for a block, and even though he's only 6'7", he can play the 4. He can almost play the 5 at 6'7" because he has so much bounce. So that's why Kelly Oubre is good. Kelly Oubre is a role player. Andrew Wiggins should be a star, but that's why he's even on the Warriors in the first place, because he doesn't have that drive. He doesn't have that dog mentality. That's why Jimmy Butler left.
If they make another Harrison Barnes out of him, man.
No, but if he plays like Harrison Barnes with Steph, Clay, and Draymond, they're gonna win a chip.
Yeah, I'm talking about the 15 one. I'm not going to say 15 because he barely should have been that one too. But all right, let's
be real. Harrison Barnes is the reason they lost in 16 because he couldn't hit a 3 in that corner to save his life.
5 from game. It wasn't even 5 from like game 4. I think he only hit like 4 threes.
And he took
the
like
rest of the
30 for the whole series.
34. Yeah, I was saying, how you go 4 for 34? Just do what Kobe did. Just fall away jumper or something in the joint. Like, drive the ball.
Do that because he's never going to get the ball.
He's too skinny. Yeah.
Like, he's better. He's way more of a dog now on the Kings or whatever team he's on than he was on the Warriors or even the Mavs. When he was on the Mavs, he wasn't even that good either. They gave him max money or close to max money because they're like, oh, he came from the Warriors and he was actually good. Like, no, it's the same Draymond thing. Draymond is one of the best players in the NBA when it's Steph and Clay on his team. Take either one of them off, and he's just a regular guy. He's still elite defensively, and he's still a good facilitator, but he can't impact the game as much as he wants to because people aren't making the shots around him.
I think his nearest shot, I'm not going to hold you, his best shot to be him, if he was really to leave the Warriors, it would actually be Philly because them cats can shoot. Or Dallas.
You already have
I know he's not really leaving, but
you already have him on that team.
Yeah.
It's Ben Simmons. It's just Ben Simmons is a lot faster.
Them cats would be like the late 80s Pistons or modern day if they had him on there too.
Would they though? No, because now you have 2 people on the court taking big minutes that never shoot.
But remember with Detroit, that was kind of what it is. And just remember, Joel Embiid can shoot. Joel Embiid is
they don't want him
15 times better than Lambeer. I know they don't, but they got to respect the fact he's a real nightmare. Like, he's a legit nightmare. And that's kind of what makes a playing tournament interesting because my thing is like, you get to see who should stay and who kind of should go. Like, because your free agency period low-key starts from when you get eliminated.
Yeah.
Indiana knows they need a new coach. Indiana knows they
do they
probably
though?
Need. They're in their mind, yes, because to get rid of Nate McMillan and
that was a bad decision because look what he did with the Hawks.
Yeah, and it's like you only got rid of him because you're like, we're tired of losing in the first round. You never had that's a roster issue. It was never because he coached out to places where y'all shouldn't have been, especially that first time around. When he first got hired and made a 7-game series when LeBron was still there. Nah, it's not. It's a roster issue, and I think some of those guys who are in the tournament are going to have to address the roster issues if they're going to like legit.
No, but which team out of the 4 actually has roster issues? I think the Celtics don't really have roster issues. They just need to, like, Robert Williams is a dog as a center, even though he's only 6'9". He's a dog. He had 9 blocks against the Nets. 9.
Yeah. But
bro, he almost had a double with blocks.
No. You're right. But I'm not worried. I'm not. Once you get in at 7 and 8, you know you barely grazed it. I'm talking about 9 and 10, the ones that got eliminated. They need, because if you think about it, okay, if I'm gonna not want to be in the playing tournament for a second straight year, which is Indiana, Charlotte, Golden State, San Antonio, dang, 2 of those teams have winning pedigrees, championship pedigrees. You can tell health's a factor in how you build your roster. San Antonio, in my opinion, needs to get some physical bigs or really get the guys that fit what Popovich's philosophy is about. You need those guys to space the floor and be about passing. When they showed the starting five, I think SportsCenter did it. When they showed the starting five for all the championship teams of the last 10, 11 years, that roster in 14, they had 4 point guards, essentially. Because Boris Diaw is a big, but that man's a point guard.
A point guard,
He has point guard handles. Ginobili was a point guard for Argentina when they won the Olympics. He has handles. When he don't turn the ball over like that. Naturally, Tony Parker. He had two good playmakers in inside with Duncan, in and out with Kawhi. So it's like that's
and then to have Patty Mills off the bench.
Off the bench. You know what I'm
Danny
saying?
Green, who even though he's not a passer, he always makes the right play.
He's not a turnover machine.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He's not a turnover machine. So it's like, you get it. So in my opinion, if he can get that back, San Antonio will have something to say. Golden State is just a matter of health. I think they need to address the bench depth. What made them good, the first championship around in 2015, what impressed us was their bench depth. It was a good mix of young players and veteran players that were hungry. I don't know if they can get that again because of how much money.
This year.
They're young.
I think that's what it is.
They're young, but you know what? If they can just get the dogs in them, there'll be a problem. But that bench depth had a healthy mix of youth and veterans. In that 2015 run, even though they lost in 16, the only year that I think of the 3 that they won, that they didn't really have bench depth, in my opinion, was actually 18. Because they had to make sure they start securing some of their stars. Yeah.
Yeah. And you didn't really need a bench when you have 2 of the top 5 players in the NBA at the time. And
arguably 3 of the top 10.
Yeah, 3 of the top 10. And then you had Draymond.
Yeah.
And Iguodala was still there, I think.
By default. So. Yeah. Iguodala was still there. Yeah, definitely. So that's just my take. So you need to, those teams that are eliminated, they have to, that's the good thing about the play-in tournament, because would they have addressed it if they were just barely on the outside looking in? Yeah. And they just went the regular 8, you know?
Oh, okay.
If the Lakers didn't make it, let's say the Lakers lost both their games and went from being defending champions to out of the picture, we know what they need. They need some youth.
I think they need a smaller team.
Yeah.
Or Drummond needs to take a bench spot and be the 6th man. You can't have him and AD on the floor at the same time. There's not enough room.
It's you know, it's crazy. It's not a Drummond is bad, but Vogel's coaching style works better smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though they had a lot of bigs last year, it's the versatility of the bigs that made it work, because they were big heavy. They were. You couldn't beat their tall lineup, and their small lineup was still tall. So it's like, what's the point? So you would have knew what they needed if they didn't make it. So that's what makes the play-in tournament interesting, because those 7, 8, 9, 10 teams, they're teetering. They could have easily been in the top 6. I would say the only teams that you knew they were going to be in the top 6, because I feel like Charlotte would have fizzled out. And I feel like Pacers were going to naturally be in the tournament. If they were going to make the playoffs, I always said it, they were going to be a play-in team.
Full strength though, Miles Turner and Caris LeVert. You think they're still a play-in team?
Miles Turner had a decent playoff run. I guess it's because Miles Turner doesn't consistently move the needle for me.
Yeah,
LeVert moves it better. LeVert moves it better than Turner. That's my opinion. We only knew about Turner because of the games that he got hot against Miami.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jimmy Butler just said enough. So it's like, all right, I'm gonna stop playing. Enough. Yeah. Like, you know, he didn't even dog back. So that's just me and Miles Turner. I don't think he's a consistent dude to build around. Yeah, better shot with LeVert. That's just my opinion. And Sabonis.
So okay. So what do the Pacers need next year? You said other than the coach. I know you said coach already.
To me, yeah. I was joking with D'Antoni, but it's only because D'Antoni's about to take the job last year. I'm like, just go on and take it. It's just like the Thibodeau. It's just like the Thibodeau. If because a lot of people say if Thibodeau took the job when Jackson offered him it, quote unquote, they would have been more better along.
Yeah.
But I was like, no, Jackson wanted him to teach a triangle. It wasn't gonna
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
He's gonna let him coach his way. The thing is, Indiana is gonna always have that chip on his shoulder. And listen, if he gets there, they're gonna he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. What's always been his narrative? He don't adjust. In-game adjustments. He plays the thinnest bench in the playoff series.
You talking about D'Antoni?
If D'Antoni went
Okay.
there, it's a chip. Everybody's gonna have a chip on the shoulder, and you might get them late '90s, early 2000s Indiana where they had a chip on their shoulder. It just never materialized to a championship.
Yeah, because of the competition. You still have to go through late 90s. How late now? You're talking about 2000, like 99, 2000.
No, because you gotta remember they were kind of factor from '97.
Yeah, but
when they brought the Bulls to Game 7. You knew they were gonna win.
Yeah.
But remember, they had the chip on their shoulder enough. That's why cats respect. That's why Larry Bird said, I can make something happen with them.
Yeah.
You know, it could have happened. You know, I don't know. Their last shot was when Rick Carlisle was there in 2004 and the Pistons beat them in the conference championship.
Mm-hmm.
That's in my opinion, that's when the door was shut because Reggie Miller was already going to be out the door. He's already retiring. They weren't going to keep Ron Artest. They weren't going to keep Jermaine O'Neal. So it's like they need
Jermaine O'Neal was a problem back then too.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. That brawl altered their trajectory because they were a playoff team and they were already in a rivalry with Detroit. Let's say the Palace didn't happen. The Palace didn't happen. They both have great because Ron Artest was already an all defensive player. I think he had won a defensive player of the year, or he was going on his way to doing it. And you need something like that in Indiana for them. Sabonis, the reason why Sabonis moves the needle for a lot of people, in my opinion, is because of his dad. He's a better version or more consistent version of his dad.
Well, let me not say way better, but he is a lot better than his dad.
Yeah, no.
He does everything.
He has more versatility. Yeah, he's more versatile. Because his pops wasn't good. Now the league wasn't like this in his dad's day to let bigs be the point guard. But the thing is, Sabonis doesn't even need to do that. But if he has to, he knows what to do.
Yeah.
He's not really a turnover machine. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you can build with him, but to me, your second guy has to be LeVert because I feel like LeVert was shortchanged in Brooklyn. But that's because if you're going to build a win now team, someone's got to suffer. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, it was him. I wish there was a way that they could have kept him, but that wasn't going to happen.
No, there was no way to keep him and get Harden. There was zero chance because he was the only asset that we had, really, that was tradable. You're not going to trade Kyrie. You're not trading KD. You're not trading any of the bench mobs.
Yeah, the top. Yeah,
if Joe Harris wasn't making $22 million a year, whatever he's making, they could have traded him. But he's not.
Yeah,
he doesn't move the needle enough to get a James Harden. Karis LeVert dropped 50, and it was an easy 50 too.
And that's my thing. You build with them too. I would say if you can get some versatile bigs, this year's free agency class can really be trash or really be all-time great, depending once again on Kawhi, Steph, and then there's one other player that's top tier that could be a free agent if they opt out. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I know it's definitely Steph and Kawhi that could really make things interesting.
Who else?
Paul George did the max because Paul George could have been again too. He took the max with the Clippers. I'm trying to remember who else it was, but I knew
Paul George, yes. No, I wasn't talking about the extension. I'm thinking because he had 3 years left. No,
he fulfilled the extension of OKC. That's
what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, because it was him and Kawhi were supposed to be leaving at the same time. Yeah, so I think he had 2 years left or something like that.
Playoff run. That's why this playoff run is going. See, Stephen A. said something about him being that dude in LA, and the thing is, Kawhi let that ship sail when they couldn't beat Denver, in my opinion. And the Lakers had won. The Lakers had already won. If the Lakers didn't win the championship last year, both of them didn't win, you can have that battle make sense. But the Lakers won. So that, to me, for the town of LA and in the eyes of most of the league, it's a done deal. To me, Kawhi's got to walk. But that's another conversation. I don't know if he's gonna walk. But if he's not gonna stay, that's another conversation. I don't
PG.
see him going to Indiana, but he would make it. And that's the team that drafted him.
That would be a great pickup.
That's the team that drafted him, but they traded him for George Hill and all of them.
Yeah. Him with Karis LeVert, Sabonis, Brogdon, Miles Turner,
Yeah,
that starting five.
They have that's what I'm saying. They have listen,
They don't have the money though.
Indiana, I know they don't now, but Indiana, if they did that, you could really say Indiana finally would get his first chip. Like, you really would say, like, yeah.
I don't think so.
Not the first year, maybe the second, because Brogdon is not trash.
No, but I'm saying because they would have to get through the Nets still. And Philly still. Philly not going anywhere.
Boy, I just remembered that. Forgot something.
Yeah.
And Milwaukee's not going to, especially because Giannis signed the extension.
Milwaukee might, because they're going to have to get big production. They're not 5.
They're not gonna. The reason why I'm certain it's not gonna happen, that they're gonna fall out the equation, because the roster that's constructed is built for him to win. So, and that's kind of why those teams in the play-in tournament may have to look at those top teams and say, how do I get out of the Nets, the Sixers, the Bucks? You got to factor those 3 teams in. What's the moves? If Golden State's gonna, I don't count the top 2 teams of this year. That's just my opinion, because we see what happened. I'm talking about Jazz and the Suns. Okay. I can't say what did Jazz and the Suns do. I would rather look at from 3 to 8, because all of them squads from last year was really the top teams. They basically switched spots.
I would say you can look at the Jazz. You can't really look at the Suns.
If the Jazz win, maybe.
The Suns is Chris Paul.
If the Jazz win, maybe, but because the Jazz isn't gonna win, in my opinion, the championship, that is, I can't say let's look to them.
Well, what you don't know.
The Jazz is that
you don't know, because who's the 4-5?
I know it's the most. Who's the 4-5 of the West?
It's Portland and Denver.
No, it's Portland and Denver.
That's an easily winnable series for the Jazz.
That's 3-6. But bro, that's 3-6.
That's
4-5 is Clippers, Mavs, and let's say the Mavs win that.
No, I thought Clippers were the 3.
No, remember Denver overtook them.
I thought because Denver sold the last 2 games, so they didn't have to play the Lakers.
Nah, that was the Clippers that sold the last 2 games, so they didn't have to play the Lakers.
Denver did it too. That's why I thought it was just Denver. Then
nah.
So both teams did it to avoid the Lakers.
They locked up. And remember, they locked up the 3, basically because they lost the last 2 games. But remember, the Clippers lost 3 out of 4.
Yeah.
The Clippers had won 2 no, but it wouldn't have mattered because they would have tied. The record would have been tied, and Denver has a tiebreaker. So like it wouldn't even matter.
Yeah. So okay. So you think if Donovan Mitchell, because he's healthy now, if Donovan Mitchell plays the rest of,
he's healthy allegedly.
He's not game healthy. No, he's not playoff game healthy. He's regular season game healthy. There's a difference.
And just remember, now I'm not saying Memphis gonna do it, but if there's a year for an 8-1 upset, it's that series.
This is the year for an 8-1 upset and a 7-2 upset. This is the year for both, because the Lakers are
keep the play, and that's why people would say keep the playing game. But I'll save that for later. But that's why some people would say it only worked in the West. That's my thing. Like in the East, you're not saying, boy, DC got a shot against Philly. They could give them a run. There's not a chance. There's not a chance, in my opinion.
It would have been better if the Lakers were healthy the entire year, because we knew, like, we were shocked at how close the game was, but we knew the Lakers were going to beat the Warriors. We knew it.
Yeah, somehow, some way. Yeah.
But if it was Portland at the 7, Portland Warriors 7-8, that is when we're like, oh man, that's a game, because we all know Portland is not a better, healthy without Klay Thompson. Portland is not better than the Warriors. Game would have to go crazy, because Steph went crazy against the Lakers. So Steph would have to return the favor on the Warriors in order to beat them. So of course it's possible. He does it all the time, but it's not like a given. Like Lakers, we knew. Even when they were up by 15, I texted you. I was like, don't even worry.
I know.
I was like, don't even worry
You know
about
what
this.
it is? I think what happened, in my opinion, is just that when you see Steph hitting 3 threes before the end of the first half, and he was averaging 6, 7, it's like he's gonna get his. It's like
Yeah.
he's gonna get his. And I think it's because the role players shocked us in the first half. They went completely cold in the second half. But I'm talking about the bench role players,
No, I know exactly what you're talking about.
not
I
the
know
starting
exactly
role
what you're talking
players.
about. My thing is, they still should have won the game. The reason they lost the game is because the turnovers. How you have like 1 turnover in the first half and then 7 in the third quarter? Like, there's no way with LeBron and AD.
And then
You can't do that.
Didn't Golden State like have 5 more in the fourth?
I think so. Something ridiculous.
But the thing is that was always Golden State's downfall, not playing clean basketball.
Yeah, even when they was winning chips, it was always like they would go on runs of like 10 minutes where they would score like 12 points in the 10 minutes and have like 18 turnovers. But of course, in the next 5 minutes, they would score 30 points because you have Klay Thompson scoring 37 in a quarter, Steph Curry, who averages 12 points in the third quarter. It's like stuff like that. So I get it, but you knew the Lakers were going to win that game just because they got too hot in the first quarter. The first half, any team who gets too hot in the first half, they usually have a down third quarter. Yeah, because you can't sustain it.
Whether play in or play off, because the thing is, the play-in tournament, which is a good thing, you have to treat like a playoff game. You have to treat like Game 7,
yes,
do or die. That's the only reason why I would say, okay, you can have it as a keeper, because Memphis was smacking the Spurs, and the Spurs made it interesting. But you just knew, for me, just had a feeling it wasn't gonna be
just like you said.
They're gonna overtake them.
They don't have that guy, and that's because DeMar tries to be Jimmy Butler instead of being DeMar DeRozan. But the only reason why DeMar DeRozan never won a chip is because he had to go through LeBron every year. That is let me not say not one. The only reason why he never made it to the finals is because of LeBron. DeMar DeRozan is a dog. DeMar DeRozan was in the Eastern Conference Finals almost every year that LeBron went to the finals. It was him, and he got beaten by LeBron every single time. So when people are like, oh, DeMar DeRozan, no, DeMar DeRozan is worse now because he's trying to be Jimmy. Stop being Jimmy. Only Jimmy Butler can be Jimmy. You need to be DeMar DeRozan. Drop 30 points a game off of mid-range. Do it.
Yeah.
Let DeJounte Murray be the ball handler.
And DeJounte Murray is not trash. That's my thing.
He's not. He kept them in the game.
He's a great to me. He's a great, for lack of a better term, he has the potential to really be good for the Spurs for a long time. And remember, why they didn't make a run in the playoffs the year before was because he wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
And people have to remember, it's not the Spurs. Yes, they fell back, but it's not that the roster is so bad. And because they're a small market team, maybe it's just me. It's like it's so hard to see a case where somebody would do like a LaMarcus Aldridge and say, "I want to go to San Antonio." Like, to me, it's hard. They're gonna have to draft well, but if they get the free agent,
they could because of Pop. They could because they have Pop there. They could.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Well, Pop is on his way out, so you're not gonna sign a max deal over there to do what? You think Pop's staying another 5 years? He's like 70.
Yeah. And I think that's what my thing is too. Is like but here's the thing: he's doing better than most teams in trading his replacement because he has 2 options: Tim Duncan or Becky Hammond.
I don't think Tim Duncan would take it. I don't know. I feel like he wants to be a assistant coach. I feel like he has fun.
Like he wants to be a coach. To me, I feel like he wants to be a coach somewhere else. But he has what it takes to be the coach, if anything.
I would give it to Becky Hammond before I give it to
Pop?
Yeah, no, to Tim.
Oh, to Tim. Oh, okay. It just depends because my thing is, it's just like Becky will work. I'm not gonna lie, Becky would work. because they're young and they're able to, But I feel like because Tim has the experience and Tim has the IQ, Tim has always had good ball IQ,
Yeah.
and now transforms to a coaching level. That man would be a problem.
My only thing is I feel like Becky would be the GOAT of drawing up plays. Like, have you ever seen her talk basketball? I
Yeah,
feel like
them G League.
her
I watched her. I watched her for the summer league, and she's
her play calling would probably be nuts, and that's why I kind of want to say that she would be the best option, because I feel like Tim Duncan would try to play old school basketball. I feel like he would try
no.
to.
I think Tim.
He would have to take over like the
Tim
T
is
Wolves.
adjusted. Yeah, no. Tim would. To be honest, Tim would adjust.
I don't know. I just feel like he'll be like, I need a great big, and he would go to like the T Wolves or, a team like that has like Cat. Even though I don't even think Cat wants to be out there in Minnesota. Like, he's from Jersey. Let's not forget he went to St. Joe's, Metuchen.
He ain't going. Right now, he ain't going. He ain't going to the next. They don't have room.
Oh, there's no room. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying I don't think he wants to be in that freezing cold. He took the money because he took the money. I don't think he wants to be in Minnesota. Who wants to live out there?
Yeah.
That's my whole point. So it's like, I don't know. He's from Jersey, so I don't even think he wants to be out there. But I feel like Tim Duncan would need a big, even if it's like a Draymond type of big, like somebody who played Tim Duncan basketball but without the scoring. Because,
but remember, Tim Duncan was surrounded by 3-point shooters for his championship runs too.
I agree.
So he knows how to maneuver that. That's why it's like I can't sit here and say he won't. If he was to be that dude, he wouldn't.
Okay. Let's
be great because I've seen her do summer league.
Yeah.
Her to do it, she should get it.
No, but I wasn't even going down that road. What I'm about to say is, because we talked about the Pacers. Like, to be honest with you, if you're not one of the top 6 teams in the East, and I'm gonna take out, okay, let me say top 7, because I think Celtics, if they had a big, would be a legit contender. So yeah. I'll say top 7. Like, the Wizards are not gonna win this postseason. The Hornets are not gonna. The Pacers are not gonna win even at full strength. But let's go down just the playing teams, because that's the topic of today. What's just the playing teams? Warriors, Klay Thompson, James Wiseman, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, full team. Do they need anything other than you said bench depth? But with James Wiseman on the team, that bumps Kevon Looney to the bench. So now you have a defensive big, and then that bumps with Klay Thompson, that bumps Toscano to the bench, that bumps Jordan Poole to a legit bench piece. Not, I gotta come in and score 30 because we don't have offense. Like, he's 6 man now. He's not, I'm in here to lock up. No, that's not his job. Bench. What do they need?
Now that you mention it like that, I would still say, because here's the thing. If Wiseman's going to really be a part of that, to me, it's a difficult. This is my hot take. If James Wiseman is going to really be what he's been before he's injured, y'all might have to have a conversation about either Draymond
getting traded
or off the bench.
No. That would never work. That would ruin the team, because you got to understand, Draymond is the quarterback of that team. Like, yes, Steph Curry gets all the plays, he scores all the points, but without Draymond,
that's my hot take. Because James Wiseman can do what Draymond, except for be like the heart, except for be the heart of the soul, heart or and soul.
Guard 1 through 5. James Wiseman would get destroyed. Draymond could legit guard 1 through 5 the entire game.
So your starting lineup, for example, would be Steph, Klay,
Wiggins,
Draymond,
and James Wiseman.
I just feel like if Draymond was the 5, you get the best out of him. But okay,
Yes, you
him going
get the
back to the 4,
best.
him going back to the 4 would be basically what they were on their way to do with Mark Jackson. That's kind of where I'm coming from with that. It's like, because that's where he was going to be.
No, but he plays the 4 now.
Yeah.
Remember, Kev, you know how much, I don't think you realize how many minutes Kevon Looney played. He was in the game for a long time, and I was confused.
For a minute, yeah.
I was confused. I'm like, why is he still in the game?
Who's a big man in the free agent market? Let me look at the free agent class because I think they need to back a big to support.
They got Blake.
Wiseman.
You got Blake. You have that's really it. There's really just Blake Griffin, unless you want to count like Nerlens Noel. But I don't even, I think he'll probably want to go back to the Knicks. So they're building
That's
something
a good
there.
point. Oh, whoa.
Who?
Wait a minute. That's huge. Oh boy, that's gonna put pressure on Phoenix. I didn't know that Chris Paul. I have the list now. He could opt out too. It was Chris Paul, the third player.
Yeah.
It was Chris Paul. DeMar can opt out too.
Yeah.
He's probably not.
He might.
Kyle Lowry.
He might.
Maybe.
What if he all along he just wants to go back to the Raptors?
John Collins. Yeah, John Collins.
You think John Collins leaving Hawks? Is he unrestricted or restricted? Because they're gonna match it. They love that John Collins, Trae Young duo.
Yeah, he's restricted.
Yeah, they're gonna match it.
He's restricted. Holmes.
Rashawn Holmes? Come on, man. Come on.
You don't need him to start.
That's true. You have a good point. I was about to say, really, bro? He's not doing anything.
Start. Yeah, I need him to back up James Wiseman. That's what I'm saying.
Kevon Looney, he's not going anywhere. If you're just bringing him off the bench for defense, he's not going anywhere. He'd be fine. Keep him there. Kevon Looney balls. He's just should not be starting on any team.
No, I mean, that's a great point, man. He shouldn't be starting on any team.
And they have Jordan Bell on the bench, too. When did he even get back on the Warriors? I thought he was on the Cavs. Jordan Bell has so much energy.
I know. All right. The only other big man that I know off the top of my head now, I just remembered he on the Clippers, Ibaka.
If Ibaka goes to the Warriors, they're winning the championship next year. No team has a shot. Not one team has a shot if he goes to the Warriors. Because I guarantee you, Trevor Ariza or Iguodala, one of them two from the Heat is going to end up back on the Warriors next year. And if that's the case, with Ibaka as your backup 5, you have zero chance of beating them. It's impossible. Mark it down. There's not one single team in the NBA that's beating that team.
Because that's my thing. Because when the Warriors won in 15 and when they won in 17, they were number 1 on both sides of the ball.
Yep.
And that's my thing. It's like and they had Lee come off the bench. Like, I feel like they just need that big, that's versatile, come off the bench to get them back into that 2015 sphere.
David Lee, yo.
So that's why I'm saying they need a big. Like, that's why I'm like, if Serge Ibaka says, all right, it didn't work out with the Clippers, it was fun, and he says, and they give him the money that he wants, I mean.
Hey, don't be shocked if he comes to the Nets. His boy is KD. If he comes to the Nets,
yeah.
GG's to the NBA. GG's.
Good game. I know.
Pack it up.
But also too, I mean, I don't think the Warriors would need him.
They don't need him.
Because I don't think he's going to be able to come off the bench. No, Ibaka, yes.
He comes off the bench for the Clips.
I forgot Drummond was bought out, so he's on a minimum salary. Drummond don't have to sign back with the Lakers, to be honest.
Yeah. Him and Blake, they're all the same thing.
Yeah, so it's like, my thing is, I would rather Ibaka for the Warriors. That's just me. He might go with the Nets, but I'm just saying, if it was me.
I don't think he comes to the Nets because I don't think the Nets really have the money. Remember, they gave KD and Kyrie max. Harden's making max.
Max contract is, yeah.
And then you have Joe Harris making 20.
Minimum. Yeah, he's not going to take the veterans minimum because he's already worth $8 million off of his last salary this year. So he's going to probably want 8, 10. I don't think he's going to do the veteran minimum just because he knows he still has value.
Oh
So
yeah.
if it's Golden State getting a big, they have room to do it because Oubre is a free agent unrestricted.
Will they though?
So,
because they're about to pay Steph Curry 4 years, 215. That's 50, what, 53 mil, 53.5 mil a year? You think they got room?
I don't know. And that's my other thing. Should they do that late in his career? Because that's the reason why they're going to, if Phoenix doesn't make a deep run, or even if they make a deep run, okay, let's say Phoenix don't win this. Let's say Phoenix don't beat the Lakers. Chris Paul has an option. They're going to probably tell him, opt out, sign for just a little bit less because we're right on the cusp. That's if LeBron doesn't say to him, we've always wanted to do this.
Yeah. Hey, LeBron said it about Curry in the All-Star game. He was like, oh man, I had too much fun playing with Steph Curry for that one All-Star game. I wouldn't be shocked if after this next contract, no, not me, I say next, LeBron's 37, 36 years old. Is he 30? 30, 34?
LeBron.
35.
No, he's 36. He's 6 because his birthday's in December. Yeah, 36.
Yeah. So I wouldn't be shocked because he already said it about Steph Curry, but Steph Curry was like a recent thing. Like Chris Paul's his boy, and that's one thing the Lakers been slacking off with. Your backup point guard is Taylor Horton Tucker. That don't work.
It would make me happy. I'm not gonna hold you. It would make me happy and sad at the same time because he could have been what would have gotten LeBron to LA from 2014.
I don't think LeBron wanted to play in the West at that time. He didn't want to. And play with Kobe, you mad? That would never happen. There's 0% chance he's lining up with Kobe, especially at that point in his career. Nah.
But what I tell you, to have Chris Paul, Kobe, and LeBron, that would have been a big three.
That would be the most OP team because remember, at that point in his career, what was Kobe really doing? He was passing the ball 2014, 2015. My boy was out there getting 15 assists.
And why not pass it to the man that can hold down LA after you retire?
No, because then he's gonna say, oh, my last chip was LeBron's chip. Kobe would never allow that. Because let's be real.
I know.
That's probably why LeBron never ended.
I know that. I'm being an idiot. I know the Lakers fans should be ashamed of myself for saying that, but I did it one time in 2K and it was amazing. That's what I'm trying to say.
Like, you can see.
I used to play 2K early. It was amazing.
Even off your background. Look at your background. You got Gary Payton. You got, is that T-Bag or Penny?
No, that's Penny.
That's Penny. You got
Jordan,
Carmelo, Jordan, and that's Darty, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got all these guys. Everybody's looking up at Kobe. Kobe wants to be the center of attention. Kobe would have hated Bron on that team.
No, I know. No, I'm not stupid. I know. I'm just thinking more so about the Chris Paul. Maybe Chris Paul would have been the selling point in 18 for sure. No, you needed was an AD.
I think if Chris Paul, I feel like everybody's stubborn. We kind of get off topic with this, but everybody's stubborn because LeBron did not want to go to the West and make his life harder. LeBron wanted the easy road to the finals, and then I'll deal with the hard competition in the finals. Chris Paul wanted to take the hard road every time because you never even heard him linked to an Eastern team. Never once, not even once. When he was on the Hornets back in the day,
he only wanted to go to he only wanted to go to the Lakers.
Then it was like, nah, they sent him to the Clippers. Yeah. And it was like, okay, after the Clippers, where did he go?
Houston.
Where did he go after that? OKC. Where did he go after that? Suns. He signed with the Suns. So that's what I'm saying.
He got traded.
I thought he got traded to OKC.
Right, OKC. Sorry, it's OKC first. Then because he had signed the extension with Houston, and then did the second year in OKC. He's doing his third year now in Phoenix.
Oh, okay. I
get it with that with wishful thinking, but just think about it. If you don't, if those kind of tier players come available, because I'm surprised people haven't talked about it more. That I guess everybody's taking for granted that he's just going to sign back, and I'm like, guys,
nah, Steph
can shock. I know he's not going to probably do it, but Steph is the kind of person that can shock us if he wanted to.
Yeah.
But I know he's gonna probably stay back with Golden State. I'm not gonna be dumb. But if you're gonna get any of those guys, like for me, Golden State should go after Ibaka, and you're gonna be that 2015 team because Ibaka would be a better version of David Lee, in my opinion,
Yeah.
especially defensively.
I
If
just
I'm
don't. I don't think that the only team that Steph would ever go to other than the Warriors is the Hornets, and I don't think he ever wants to go play with LaMelo and Devontae Graham and all of them. Like, nah,
Yeah, that's not happening.
it's
And
not happening.
Cleveland's in no place to take him either, because that's his
Yeah,
real birth city. So he's in no place to do. Yeah, no place to do that.
he
So
would get
I guess
roasted if he ever
no,
went to
no,
Cleveland.
yeah. And at that point, it would just be him being a homer, like to just entertain
Yeah,
Cleveland. But if he wants to win championships, he should stay. But I also think he shouldn't take that super max, only because it's late in your career. You're gonna have to start building. It's basically Magic and Kareem in reverse.
yeah.
You got to build towards Wiseman. And who's to say that Draymond Green still wouldn't come up in trade time? It still shock me, but who? I know Chicago's interested in him. Billy Donovan will get the most out of him defensively to be an anchor.
If he went to Chicago at this deadline that just passed, Chicago would be in the play, not the play-in, the playoffs.
No, I'm aware. I agree.
And that says a lot because Draymond's not looked at as like that great anymore. Like, people sleep on Draymond so much, even though was he a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year this year? I think it was him, Gobert, and was it Ben Simmons?
Yeah, no, he was a finalist. He's been in the top 5 conversation since 15.
Yep.
Every year, quintessentially. So it's not like he can't. He reminds me of Ray Lewis at this point in his career. Ray Lewis didn't need to be that dog on defense, but he needed to make sure everybody else around him had his mind, because he knew his body couldn't do it no more. If Draymond gets that into the Bulls, you might have some. If he had went to the Bulls, let's say he finishes his career. I'm saying if they don't keep him and they say let's keep Curry and start building around Wiseman. Let's get Ibaka, because Ibaka can do what Draymond do. If they were to go that route, I doubt they start
Kenny
off the bench and make Wiggins come up a little bit more and keep him. I get it, but even if they just keep the squad, sign Ibaka on a minimum deal, let him come off the bench for them. But he's not really starting for the Clippers either. So it's just like it's a win. To me, it'll be a big win. That's why I think Golden State needs it. That's just to me. Memphis, let them keep growing. I can't even.
They
let
have
them
a
keep
full
growing.
team. They have a full team.
Yeah, let them.
They
let
just
them
gotta
keep, let them keep growing. At this you gotta let them keep growing.
You got Dylan Brooks.
Memphis has never signed Memphis has never signed a big name free agent.
Never, yeah.
Never.
Yeah.
So let them grow.
You can kind of count Zach Randolph, kind of, but didn't he start with that team? Like,
yeah, that's my thing. Like, not at that point in his career. Yeah, respectfully,
they barely signed Rudy Gay back. So,
yeah, barely. And what happened? He ended up in San Antonio.
Yeah.
So it's just like, nah, I'm good. And yeah, wait, and wasn't that a factor this year too with the Spurs? Was Rudy Gay still there?
Yeah, he's still there. He's just off the bench.
Yeah, he wasn't healthy. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's kind of why I would tell the Spurs, if I was them, consider if you don't, Ibaka would be a good fit there too, in my opinion. Dang.
Ibaka's a good fit anywhere because he does exactly what you want and he stretches the floor. There's no team that he wouldn't be good for.
Like, yeah, I just thought about it because, geez.
The only team that it would be pointless for him to sign with is like the Knicks, because the Knicks have
Milwaukee.
bigs. No, even Milwaukee would work because I think Brook Lopez is a free agent. And he's a better Brook Lopez.
Oh, you're right. My list came back up because my joint shut down, but my list is back up. You're right.
I want Brook Lopez back on the Nets if he's willing to not shoot 6 threes a game.
That's not gonna happen.
I know, because he's not gonna take that little money.
I would say, okay, if he's willing to, because I feel like, for the Spurs, I would say if they could get a free agent that would help them tip the needle. This is just my opinion. Even though he might not leave, I would say Lou Williams. veteran off the bench.
I think Trae Young has tipped the needle
for him to stay.
For him to stay in the Hawks, because that's where he grew up, really. Then he went to the Clippers, and the Clippers traded him back to the Hawks. He said, I'm going to retire. I don't want to do this no more, man. And then now it's like, wait, Trae Young is a bad man.
Gave him a second win. Yeah. He gave him a second win.
He's like, you sent me to this bum squad. And it's like, wait, no. Trae Young is a bad man with the basketball in his hand. So,
and if you needed a guard, I don't know. This is kind of tough, because I'm just like, if they can go for Dragic, the Spurs. They do good with international players, whether early,
you think he leaves
mid,
Miami?
or late in their career. He's gonna have to, because they're gonna build that team. Injuries is why he had more minutes in the finals.
No, he carried them to the finals. It was him and Jimmy.
Injuries is why he had more minutes in the finals than he should have. I'm sticking with it.
You sure? Well, other than the fact that he was hurt. He was hurt. So
yeah, injuries. He
was injured. I'm not worried about everybody else. He was injured. Dragic carried them.
Even this year.
No, this year he's playing because Kendrick Nunn is low-key a bum right now. He got better as the year went on, but when the year started, Kendrick Nunn was non-existent. But even after Kendrick Nunn came back, they still said, Kendrick Nunn, you're off the bench. Dragic is going to start and play 30 minutes a game.
They drafted him too high to not give him a shot at it. That's kind of why I was thinking he should go to San Antonio.
He should have been Rookie of the Year.
That's my opinion. Kendrick Nunn is too nice, too much potential, and I just think he needs more playing time and more gelling with the squad. So that's why I'm like, Dragic's going to take a hit, and I don't think Dragic wants to go back to being a. I don't think. This is me. I don't think he wouldn't want to be a bench player unless he's a high-end role player or a sixth man. And the thing is, I don't think he'd even be a sixth man in Miami. He would be a high-end role player and a sixth man in San Antonio.
DeJounte Murray.
And have him back up DeJounte Murray.
Lonnie Walker. Think about it,
he'd still be a good fit, high-end role player to get those guys knowing how to win. I don't know, maybe because I've seen Popovich do well with national players in general.
But DeMar should be enough, and that's what gets me tight, because DeMar was making it to the Eastern Conference Finals when he had Dwayne Casey as his coach.
Starters. Yeah.
Like, Dwayne Casey's not a bad coach, but he went to the Pistons, and the Pistons have done diddly squat.
The Pistons that me and Dre were talking about, my cousin. The Pistons stopped being good once they got old and didn't do anything about the Chauncey Billups. Like, they traded him a year too late. And remember Ben Wallace had left. So they already started disintegrating.
I'm talking about Dwayne Casey. He just took over the Pistons like 2 years ago.
Look at the roster, but bro, look at that roster. And they didn't have shooters dispersed properly.
Bro.
You had to make Blake Griffin basically be a 3 shooter for them to be relevant. And he's not a 3-point shooter.
They wanted him to stretch the floor when that's not his game. Blake Griffin is best backing down at the basket. Even on the Nets. Blake Griffin, back down, kick out. Then if he wants to run out and shoot a 3, then fine. But back up, kick out, and then let somebody else run into the middle of the paint, and then you're wide open. That's his best game. They looked at Derrick Rose like he was still 2011 Derrick Rose. And Derrick Rose even put out that thing the other day. He was like, no, I can't run. I can't jump like I used to. I got the energy, but I can't run. I can't jump. I'm not a high flyer. You can't expect me to be
how his body mended. That's on Detroit. That's another conversation.
That was the problem.
If you run your franchise bad, it don't matter who's your coach. Larry Brown was the coach of the Knicks at one point.
Yeah.
Lest we forget.
Yeah.
Lest we forget. Lest we forget. That was agony. That was terrible.
Yeah.
Okay. How about another one? Mike D'Antoni was a coach of the Lakers. I still despise Jim Buss for that.
But that wasn't a bad move, because you got to remember who was on the Lakers at the time.
Pau Gasol wasn't going to fit.
You had Powell. You had. Didn't you have
somebody that could?
Wasn't that
and
Steve
we had
Nash?
an older Ron Artest. Yeah, an unhealthy Steve Nash.
And Dwight Howard, they've got names. They still had the roster.
They had names, but he's not the coach for that. He was not the coach for that roster.
You know why he's not? He wasn't the coach for that roster? Because you had a Dwight Howard that did not understand the concept of you're not the best player on this team. Sit down.
Or he didn't have versatile bigs that could shoot the threes. If Dwight Howard was like Joel Embiid, then you could say that was a great idea and being able to shoot threes. Dwight Howard was never able to shoot threes. When he remember
Only
we went crazy last year. Yeah, remember we went crazy. Game 6 when he hit that three.
That's what I'm saying.
On the bench, I was
like, he hit that 1-3 in the All-Star game, like 20. Shaq was still playing, so like 2010.
10. Yeah, it was 9 or 10.
And
that's what I'm like. Yeah. See, yeah, but that's kind of my point too, because like, and that's why I was saying Indiana might need a coach. I know they just got him, but he caused friction between the team. There was already reports coming out that the players stopped listening to him, and they still made a playing game. So that means they're talented.
Yeah.
Because they said they won in spite of him. Did I go through the West teams? What I think they need? Yeah, we did. LA was in the playing tournament. I tell you what LA needed.
No, but LA doesn't really need anything. They just got to stay healthy. Because you have the 2 top 5 players in the NBA, top 10 players. You know, you're good. You just need a point guard.
I still think they need a listen. I even tell him go if you can get him, get Ibaka too. If
that's my point.
If you get him,
fits on every team. He fits on every team. There's not one team that
if you can get him. You know what I'm saying? And then also, okay, who was the other team from the West that we didn't talk about? We got made a play in tournament. We had Golden State, Memphis. No, we talk about all four. San Antonio just needs a veteran bench player that can grasp the system. I think DROD could grasp the system because of how great a passer he is. Because he's going to make the efficient play. He's going to make DeJounte Murray better. That's why I was like, you need a veteran guard or the veteran big.
Isn't Patty Mills on that team?
Is he still there? Yeah. Okay. So I think you need a veteran big then. That'd be more of a veteran big because they are filled guard wise. I just think they need a veteran big.
I won't even say veteran big. They just need a big that can play legit basketball. Poto is a spot up shooter. He's like Bonner.
So they go after Drummond? If the Lakers don't run him back, should they go after Drummond?
No, okay. They need someone who stretch the floor. I would rather them go after Blake. Because even though Blake is not a knockdown 3-point shooter, he can still stretch the floor and he can still play like a big. Get Blake. Get Ibaka, like we just said. Is Aaron Gordon a free agent?
No.
Okay. Well, then
next year.
That's dead then. Get Paul Millsap.
Will Barton, but he's more of a guard. But Will
he's a small forward.
Play the forwards. Yeah. He wouldn't have been a bad idea.
Where's Zach Collins?
Mark Cannon. Wouldn't be bad off from the Bulls, but I know they're probably going to sign him.
Larry Markkanen. But Larry Markkanen is not a big, bro. Like he might be 7 foot, but he's another port. I said it last week on episode 17. Larry Markkanen is not a big man. He's 7 foot, but he's Porzingis. He wants to be a small forward so bad.
That's Dirk's fault, man. Because Dirk was doing that. But Dirk didn't start winning until they moved the point to power forward.
Yeah.
Because remember, Dirk started as a small forward and I did nothing in the playoffs because he gets abused. So my thing is, if I know it bugs me because I'm like, gain 10 more pounds.
He doesn't even have to gain weight. Just play big. Porzingis got to gain weight, low key.
Yeah.
But Larry Markkanen is like 7 foot 240. Like, yes, that's not the biggest, but you could work with that size. But the guy is out here like standing on the 3-point line. And it's like, bro, at least once in a while, go in the paint. There's a reason why they had to trade for Vucevic and Theis, even though you were healthy.
Yeah.
Because you play like a small forward. Stop doing that.
Yeah. Because I feel like I guess that's a little bit of coaching, but that's also him having to just
over yourself.
I'm gonna make an adjustment. Yeah, I gotta adjust. Yeah. I'd rather a play-in tournament than a mid-season tournament because I don't get what the benefit of the mid-season tournament is. I'd rather a play-in tournament to decide the playoffs versus a mid-season tournament.
Oh yes,
The
yes,
7 and
yes,
8
yes,
seed.
yes, yes,
Put it
yes,
like
yes,
this.
yes. I agree.
In my mind, here's my take. Here's my take. I said this to somebody, my former coworkers. I was like, if the NBA did a straight 16 team bracket and you're playing games for 15 and 16, I think the intensity would have been crazier than what you got. Because, all right, say both of those teams came from the East and they got to beat someone from the West. Say it was DC versus the Lakers.
It would have never even been an East. It would have been just West teams every year.
No, I know.
And that's why I'm like,
There'd
I
have been
don't
only
really like it.
four. I know there'd have only been four, but I think what it is.
Because think about it, the Warriors were the 8 seed, and they had a better record than the Knicks, I think.
No, the
And
same record.
4. Yeah, the Knicks were the 4. So it
Yeah.
would have literally just been Pelicans and not Pelicans. It would have been Spurs and Memphis. And it's like nobody wants to see that.
The only East team would have been based off of records off the top of my head would have been Washington, because Washington had a better record than
the Pelicans.
No, DC, ain't it? DC had a better record than Memphis.
Let me go check NBA standings.
I think they had a better record. Maybe I'm bugging. I thought they had a better record than Memphis.
It says DC was 34 and 38, and Memphis it was 38 and 34. So it literally.
I thought about it the other way around. Okay.
It literally would have been
happened this year.
It would have So it would have been Spurs. Spurs would have made it. So Lakers were the 7, Warriors were the 8 at 39-33. So then the Grizzlies were the 9 at 38 and 34. Spurs were 33 and 39. And then it would have been Pacers at 34 and 38. And then the Hornets at 33, 39. So it still would have been the same teams. It would have been the same 4 teams regardless. So I take that back.
Yeah, okay. So that's what I'm like.
It would have been the same 4
teams. I think it would. I think because my thing is because the thing is the West. I think what it is with the West is because the West is the only team in playoff history that had a 50-win team miss the playoffs, which was Golden State back in 08. So I think that's kind of why it's like,
I think
50. Yeah.
Didn't Portland do it too? They might. I think they went 48.
No, they made
48.
It. 48. Yeah.
I don't think they won 50.
All those. Yeah. All those teams. Anybody that's won north of 47 games. The 2 teams only missed the playoffs were from the West. You've never heard of an East team.
East teams barely won 48 games. Remember the year the Nets were the 4 seed, and they were like 44 and 38. It was something.
Yeah,
stupid.
That's like, this is stupid. Yeah, it was dumb. Yeah. And I think that's why. And I think that's kind of why it's like the play-in tournament kind of pacifies those that want the 1 to 16 straight up.
Yeah.
But
I don't like that 1 to 16 straight up, bro. I don't.
I tell you the truth, if they did it last year, the NBA Finals might have been, I doubt it, but it might have been straight LA. And what's a bigger storyline than Clippers and Lakers for the entire thing? Straight 1 to 16.
Because I think the Clippers might have been the 4, so I don't think, because I think the Bucks had the best record, the best record in basketball last year.
You're right. So the Lakers would have been number 2.
Yeah.
So they could have played for it all.
Wait. Okay, let me look, because that's actually kind of interesting that you said that. 2020 NBA standings. So it was regular season. Bucks were 56 and 17, and Lakers were 52 and 19. So Bucks were 1, Raptors were the 2, Lakers would have been the 3, and Clippers would have been the 4. So you're right.
They could have met.
Yeah, so they could have met in the NBA Finals. It would have been 3 against the 4.
What a thing! Just think of what a thing.
That would have been
nuts.
That's
kind of why sometimes it depends on you. Because I won't even hold you, because that could have happened in What could have happened in 19? You could have gotten Golden State and Toronto, but another way. So it's like,
yeah,
it like the 16 teams. It wouldn't have. And I would say you play for so you'd have 18 teams that make it basically, and have how much made it this year? So it's 8 through
20.
10, right? So it'd still be 20-team tournament,
Yeah.
but you narrow it down the same way to get to the 16 teams.
Yeah. But it would have worked out the same way because I told you it would have been the same exact 4 teams.
No, I know, but
yeah, so it kind of been pointless.
But who would have been versing who though?
So
if it was based off of this year,
no, it would have been the exact same
like
thing. No, the exact same thing.
Lakers. Wow.
Because the Lakers, let me look just to make sure. Because the Celtics were 36 and 36. They were the 7. And the Wizards were 34 and 38. Lakers.
When the Lakers are taking on the
so it would have been slightly different. The Lakers would have played. I think the Lakers would have played the Hornets.
That would have been an easy.
No. It would have been the exact same thing. Lakers would have played. It would have been 7 against 8, right? 7-8.
Yeah.
So it would have been Lakers against. Wait, I think you said something there. It would have been Lakers, Wizards, and then Celtics, Warriors. Yes, it would have been. Slightly different, yeah.
Try your thing. I want to say to Adam Silver, try your thing, bro.
Yeah. You might have a good point there because that actually would be nuts.
Last week, because the loser has to take. Yo, bro, my gosh, in heaven.
And the way you're saying it though, it would have been less teams. So the 10 seed,
it would have been 18, but not 20. 18.
It would have been 18 instead of 20 exactly. So the 2 10 seeds would have never even.
Boom, yeah. Try again next year,
yeah.
Yo, you.
That would have been nuts. I'm not even gonna hold you.
Yo, imagine if Jason Tatum dropped 50 that game, and then you get the Warriors game where Steph and them went nuts, but it was a heartbreaking loss. Like that would have been stories for. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
And they probably would have had to then go play the Wizards because the Wizards wouldn't have beaten the Lakers.
Yeah, it would have been
Russell versus Celtics.
My God.
That Friday game would have been stupid. Russell versus Steph for all the marbles. You lose, you're not going nowhere.
No, because Steph would have won. Steph would have beat the Celtics.
No, I'm sure he would have, but the chip on the shoulder idea.
So it would have been Celtics. It would have been Celtics Wizards again.
Wizards. Ooh, but with the loss that happened already, more pressure would have been on Russell and Bradley Beal. Even though they might not have won anyway.
Thinking about it, it would have still been the same 4 teams. So it would have been Lakers, Wizards, Celtics, Warriors, and then the same 9-10 teams would have played each other. And then it would have been, I think it would have been Wizards against, let me check. It would have been Memphis? Wizards, because Wizards 34-38. So they would have lost to the Warriors. They would have lost to the Lakers. And then 9 and 10 is Pacers. Pacers are beating the, okay, this is getting confusing. Okay. Hornets would have played, so it's 38 and 34 against 34 and 38. And then 33 and 39 against 33 and 39. So either way, depending on tiebreakers, it would have been either Grizzlies Spurs again. And so it would have played out the same way. So the same thing we're talking about now. It would have been Hornets. It would have been Pacers against 34, 38, 39, 30, 38, and 34. It would have been Pacers against the Warriors. And yeah, Pacers against the Wizards.
Right.
Exactly what happened anyway. Yeah. So it doesn't even make a difference. Yeah. That's a lot.
The concept to me is still crazy because if you think about it. No, San Antonio would have had to take on not Memphis. When it's San Antonio, if you're going based off the records alone.
Yeah, because they had the same record. They had the same record. So I said it all depends on tiebreakers.
How they would have seeded it or the tiebreaker. Okay,
Yeah.
because
And I'm pretty sure San
that's the only
Antonio
thing I
beat the
didn't
Hornets.
factor. Yeah. Or LaMelo Ball would have had what John Moran had.
No, I'm talking about regular season. I'm pretty sure San
regular
Antonio
season.
beat the. So
Yeah,
it would have been
okay,
the same thing. Yeah. Well, maybe it would have if San Antonio beat the Hornets, it would have been Memphis against the Hornets and then Spurs against the Wizards. Those games, it would have been such a lopsided. Nobody would have cared about Spurs Wizards. Nobody cared about that game. It would have been Ja against LaMelo, and Ja would have absolutely demolished him. And here we are. But winding down.
Not a bad idea. You know, it's not a bad idea.
It's not. I can't even hold you.
Crazy.
That's why I had to go look it up because I'm like, that would have actually been nuts. So we talked playing games. We talked what each team needs in order to contend next year. Which of this is the last question, and I need your answer, and then we out of here. Which team of the 8 playing teams? Okay, let me not say 8. Take away Lakers, take away Warriors, because when Klay's back, the Warriors are contender. Next year, healthy Lakers, they won't even sniff the play-in tournament.
They're gonna add more. They're gonna add more depth because
they won't even sniff. They won't even sniff the play-in tournament. So take away those teams. Of the 6 teams, so Spurs, Grizzlies, Wizards, Celtics, Hornets, Pacers.
Technically, that's tough because I would say technically you shouldn't count the Celtics either because
they were low. They were low even when they had Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, okay.
I think they were the 6th. They were teetering on the edge of play-in tournament even when Jaylen Brown was there. When he got hurt with like 2 games left in the season. So it's not like he made that big of a difference. But next year, who do you think makes the biggest jump? And of course, you're probably going to lean towards the East team because it's less competition. But who do you think makes the biggest jump of the 6 teams? And why? And then we out. Last thing.
Maybe it's because I kind of gave away my answer because my thing is there hasn't been an off season where Danny Ainge doesn't do something that says, wait a minute, they're really trying to contend.
What did they do this year?
Only because it didn't work out this year. Because we didn't see Tristan. I didn't see Tristan Thompson coming to the Celtics. I didn't see that move.
Hurt, and he was also hurt.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He came back.
I didn't see that coming. So it's like that was because remember everybody swore up and down. Oh, Tristan Thompson is thinking Lakers or Clippers or Charlotte because Charlotte had the money to spare before they signed Gordon. So it's like him ending up on the Celtics. Like, whoa, okay, they're trying to do something. So that's why I'm like, I technically would say the Celtics because it's like, but for those injuries, and to be honest, seeing that by the fall, everybody's saying at least in the United States, the influence of COVID won't be as strong. So, you factor that in because that's what kind of that's what messed up Washington too, low key. Remember, they went 2 weeks, almost a month without seeing each other in practice, but 2 weeks without playing games.
I remember they played with 8. They played with 8 people. I think.
Yeah. So it would between those 2 teams, but I trust management of the Celtics. Like my stomach hurts saying because I'm a Lakers fan, but I trust Boston to keep contending. And they said
also trust Jason Tatum. I also trust Jason Tatum in big moments more than Russell Westbrook.
The minute that they said he went from 6'9" to 6'10", and they said his 3-point shooting got better, I was like,
he's KD.
There you have it.
He's a KD that doesn't shoot as well, basically at that point.
And the thing is, he'll work on his game.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum will work on his game, and he watches film of Kobe.
Yeah.
So he's gonna work on his game.
He also worked out.
I would have said the Spurs. Yeah, I would have went out, and that's what he got in trouble for it. I remember, but I would still say I love the Spurs. I respect them because the franchise they do stuff, and they're just 2-3 pieces away, and they can do it this offseason and drafting good. But I'm still going to Celtics.
All right, I agree. It has been episode 18. Playing tournaments. Who is gonna sign the free agent that puts them over the top next year? Honestly, I had fun watching them play.
You didn't see that coming. I know you didn't see that coming.
When you said that, it made sense because I don't trust Russell Westbrook in the playoffs. I don't know if Bradley Beal is good in the playoffs because the last time he made the playoffs, he wasn't a star yet. I don't know what he can do yet. We're finding out now he's gonna ball out, but is Westbrook gonna give him the ball enough? Is my question.
And they don't, and I still think they don't have a general manager. I don't think Washington has a full front office. That's kind of why it's like, what are they really gonna do?
Yeah. So, yeah. Episode
it's 18. To me, it's San Antonio. It's them in San Antonio, bro.
It has to be, yeah. But I'm with you. Like it doesn't bother me to say it. I trust the Celtics. I know it bothers you to say it. I trust the Celtics more.
No, I know they would. It's good for the league if the Celtics remain good. It's good for the league. Also, San Antonio is that top tier small market team to still make that noise.
Yeah.
Whether they want to admit it or not.
Well, yeah.
So
anybody but like the pointless teams, like nobody really cares about Charlotte. Nobody cares about them. Nobody really cares.
It's sad. Like they only care about him because Detroit. Jordan is Jordan's friendly mate. Yeah. No, you see the thing is that's not fair. Detroit has enough history, but Joe Dumars ran him into the ground. I already said it to you. When he drafted Darko Milicic ahead of Carmelo Anthony, that's when the beginning of the end happened in Detroit.
He was holding on to the old time basketball. He said, "I need a center that's gonna." And Darko Milicic, let's be real. Darko Milicic was a problem in college, and not he came from college or overseas.
No, he was a global player, but the thing was,
he was a problem.
He had one good workout. Nobody had Darko Milicic. No other. Miami didn't have him, and Miami was looking for a big. Toronto didn't have him. They were looking for a big. Nobody had him, even though he did a good workout on the top. When you have bad management, it just shows.
Yeah,
Detroit's a good franchise. Because Detroit was everybody's favorite villain in the late 80s and also in the early 2000s when it was making those runs to the conference finals. So they had the pedigree. It's just like San Antonio. San Antonio's our favorite small market. Love them or love to hate them because of Popovich. That's just my opinion. Because they gave the Lakers fits. They gave a lot of other contenders fits in the West. And then they dominated in 3 different decades. So it's just a couple pieces away.
You're right. You know,
so
I feel like
Boston the same thing.
Low key, even the Nets, like I'm a diehard Nets fan. Y'all know. Nobody really cares if the Nets are good. My thing is,
but if they're bad, everybody's
ready.
That's so weird to me.
That's so dumb.
That's so weird to me. Yeah,
because you know why? I don't think everybody. New York, the Knicks fans would have a field day because even if the Knicks weren't good, the Nets were worse. So they were like, no, that's not the case anymore. But that's neither here nor there. We could talk about that in a future episode. But it's episode 18. We've been on this story for like an hour and a half.
I didn't see that come up.
No, I saw it coming. I didn't want it to happen, but I saw it coming because you can't talk playing basketball without talking the future. You can't just talk now.
You can, but, you really can, bro.
Yeah, like shouts to Nate. I appreciate you, my bro, for coming back by popular demand. Man. We're gonna get you on when everybody's present. Me and DROD one time, we're gonna get you on probably NBA Finals. So
no problem, man.
Look out for it.
That'd be great.
We need to get Dre, as you said. You brought him up earlier. This man is slumped right now talking about work and the game was boring.
No. Did you? But all right, funny thing.
Yeah.
Look at that final score and you're like, I don't blame you.
31.
Did you see the final score?
I think they lost 118 to
no, it was 132, bro. It was look at this. It was 132.
Oh no, yes, it was 132.98. That's what it was. Yes.
That's embarrassing.
That's what 30.
They almost won by 50.
Yeah.
No, that's a playoff game.
Yeah, man. But so I don't blame him for falling asleep, but like next time he got to come on here because he has some good Knicks takes. Like he's a Knicks fan and he also loves the Lakers. Let me not say loves. He likes rooting for the Lakers when the Knicks aren't playing. So, Yeah, episode 18. Where can they find you? You want them to find you on social media? Yes or no? It's up to you.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm on IG. Find me because Bitcoin stayed trying to. So look, if you like talking sports, I got a couple files from Top Ball coverage and going back and forth. Listen, look, I like music, sports, food. You talk about those three things with me, we're in there, man.
Of course.
And 90s TV. Yeah, we're in there, man. So
All in.
Talk. Yeah, all in. Nathaniel Blackwood, IG. We'll talk it, man, and I'm here for it. Same thing on Twitter. It's just Nate Blackwood on Twitter. That's the only difference. But Nate, my full name on Instagram.
I don't even think I follow you on Twitter because ever since I've been back on Twitter,
yeah.
Even ever since I've been back, I haven't really like followed anybody. It's all Yankees people.
Yeah, because I was gonna comment on the Heat joint, but when I saw the score, I was like, I'm not gonna bother tonight.
Just follow him.
Perfect. I'm gonna see in a minute. I'm not
follow him. We gotta talk sports. Hit us up, DROD and Shaniac Sports Pod. Follow us. We need bro. Can I tell you? If you look at the YouTube, nobody watches podcasts as much as I thought they did. People listen to podcasts. We getting listens from Alaska, Washington, Virginia. We're like, I don't even know anybody out in those places. I mean, like 30 watches from all them states. And it's like, bro, people are listening. We got some from like overseas. We're like, people are listening to the podcast because people love New York sports. People want to hear about New York sports.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So even though we're not a big podcast yet, hit us up on Twitter, DROD and Shaniac Sports Pod. I live tweet from my personal Twitter. That's _Shane. I live tweet Yankees games. I live tweet really any big sports event that's going on. I might not like go crazy live tweeting. I go crazy live tweeting Yankees games. I go crazy. Everything that happens, I'm like, are you guys watching this?
I need to get back on it. Yeah, I need to get back on it with the Yankees games. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so follow DROD is, what is he? Danny Rods. It'll be listed below. Y'all can just look at that. I think is it Danny Rod 75? What's his? It's Danny Rod 75 on Twitter, and on Instagram it's Dan _Rod 75 or something like. I don't remember, bro. It's listed below on all the platforms, so don't worry. If you have any questions, just look below. But episode 18. I've been your boy Shaniac. Once again, thanks to Nate B, for being a guest.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's it. Catch you guys in the next one.
Yes, sir.